Welcome to Tiny Messy Kitchen. Today we're going to make Buckeyes. Now, if you're not from the state of Ohio, you might not have heard of these, but these are something that's very, very simple. It's peanut butter, chocolate, powdered sugar, all the good things of life. I will show you how to make these. They're very simple to make and you can be made in just about an hour or two. The best part about them is you can make them a day ahead before a football watch party or something like that. And of course, you know who I'm rooting for. Let's go to work. In order to make these Buckeyes, you will need 2 tablespoons of vegetable shortening, 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, about 3 or 4 cups of powdered sugar, and you'll see with the consistency if you need more or less. So just play around with it, but start with about 3 cups. You'll need a cup and a half of creamy peanut butter. You'll need half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and half a stick of butter, and that'll be softened. You've got to chop up your half stick of butter and put it into a bowl just to set off and get soft on its own. This is something you don't want to have melted butter, you don't want to have rock hard butter, you want to have softened to room temperature. So usually I cut it into cubes and then set it out for about an hour. Once your butter has gotten to room temperature, then I'm going to add my teaspoon of vanilla, my half teaspoon of salt, and a cup and a half of creamy peanut butter. So we have these ingredients in the bowl, and we are going to add the confectioner sugar, but I'm going to mix it first so that it can get well incorporated before I add the powdered sugar in there. Now that it's incorporated pretty well, I am going to start with just about 1 cup at a time so that way I don't have a dust cloud of powdered sugar mixed up in there. So I'll start with 1 cup and then add up to 3 cups at least until I get the right consistency that I want. You can see that this last batch of powdered sugar is not fully incorporated yet, but I'm going to switch to a rubber scraper so that way I can incorporate it a little bit better. We're going to finish the rest by hand by taking a little bit of dough, almost like the size of a golf ball, and roll it in our hands, and it will get a little bit messy, but that's okay. And then once you get it into the perfect size ball that you want, we are going to put it on a baking tray lined with wax paper, and we'll put those in the fridge once they're all rolled out. Add your chocolate chips and 2 tablespoons of vegetable shortening to a bowl, and we're going to use a double broiler, but if you have a microwave, you can use that, and just continually stir it if you're using double broiler. If you are using a microwave, cook for about 30 seconds, stir, cook for another 30 seconds, stir until it is well combined. Once your mixture is fully melted, then we can put it off to the side to cool down just a little bit for about 5 or 10 minutes, but I would still continue to stir it to make sure it stays well combined. Once your peanut butter balls have chilled in the fridge for about 30 minutes and your chocolate is ready, then you can go ahead and dip them. I know some people use a toothpick to dip them if you don't want to get your hands messy, but I am using a food safe glove to go ahead and put my hands into the chocolate a little bit. It is a little bit messier, but for me it's a bit easier than having to smooth over any toothpick marks or anything like that. And you can see where my fingerprint marks were on the side of the Buckeye, so I try to smooth that over with just a little bit more of chocolate. And it's okay if the tray is messy because you are going to be putting it on a different tray once you are ready to serve. Once they're firm, you are ready to enjoy.